good afternoon, everyone. A warm welcome to all our esteemed guests, panelists, and attendees to today's Industry Readiness Panel Discussion, Navigating Careers with Expert Guidance. We are thrilled to have an incredible lineup of industry experts who will share their knowledge and experiences to help us navigate the ever-evolving career landscape. To set the tone for today's discussion, I now invite Ms. Noora Khatoon, our ICT learner, to deliver the welcome address. Let's give her a big round of applause.
Thank you, Shana. Good afternoon, everyone. It's my absolute pleasure to welcome you all to today's Industry Readiness Panel Discussion, Navigating Careers with Expert Guidance. On behalf of ICT Academy of Kerala, I extend a warm welcome to our esteemed dignitaries, distinguished panelists, industry professionals, and all our enthusiastic participants gathered here at Travancore Hall, Technopark. In today's rapidly evolving job market, being industry ready is more crucial than ever. This event is designed to bridge the gap between academic learning and industry expectations, helping young professionals and students gain valuable insights into career readiness, talent acquisition, and industry best practices. We are honored to have with us a panel of experts who bring a wealth of experience and knowledge in various fields of talent management, HR development, and business excellence. They will share their expertise, guide us through industry trends, and answer key questions on how to navigate career successfully. Before we begin, let me take a moment to acknowledge our distinguished guests, Mr. Muraleedharan Manningal, CEO of ICT Academy of Kerala, a visionary leader committed to empowering the workforce with future-ready skills. Colonel Sanjeev Nair, CEO of Technopark, a stalwart in fostering technology and innovation in the state's largest IT hub. Our esteemed panelists, Squadron Leader Nadia Baba, Manager, HR Programs, Carestack, Mr. Ajish M.J, Manager, Business Excellence, Tata Elxsi, Mr. Shamin Sharaf, Senior Manager, Talent Attraction, Allianz Services. Our moderator, Mr. Bibin Bhanujan, Training Lead, Knowledge Office, ICT Academy of Kerala. A special thanks to all of you, our participants, for being here today. Your curiosity and eagerness to learn make events like this meaningful and impactful. With that, let's begin this exciting and insightful journey. Wishing you all a productive and engaging session. Thank you.
Thank you, Noora, for that wonderful introduction to today's event. Next, we have the honor of hearing from CEO of ICT Academy of Kerala, a visionary leader who has been instrumental in shaping industry-relevant talent development. Please welcome Mr. Muraleedharan Manningal to deliver the presidential address.
Good afternoon all and warm welcome to our esteemed industry experts. It's great to have such eminent and talented people as our speakers for today's sessions. And they come with a wealth and rich experience of both IT, technology, HR, and including the defense side. I think that's one of the unique combinations we have today, and great to have you all here. And what we do this part of a monthly session is every third Thursday of month. What we do is we do this to our session where we give an opportunity for the young professionals or young aspiring professionals and the young professionals to get an opportunity to interact with the industry experts. Want to understand what are the opportunities the youngsters having in the market or the career, and how they steer through that the challenging world of what you call the technological complex ecosystems. So I think that's what we are giving it. I'm sure that they are going to, most of the students are going through the various programs of ICT Academy, the long-term programs, about 3 to 4 months of programs, and they're focused on different tracks. But when it comes to the industry, they also want to know that what should I focus and where should I go, and how should I tackle the challenge of crossing the interview and getting into the initial days of my career. I think these kind of interactions will certainly help all of you and will help the industry expert to share their experience with the youngsters. I'm sure that this will pick up momentum in the coming months, and we'll have more people participating in this kind of interactions between the young professionals and the industry experts. thanks to all, and looking forward to the engaging discussions and get to all have all these experts as part of our sessions. Once again, thank you all for coming for this particular session of ICT Academy and supporting ICT Academy. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful words. Now it's time for our inaugural address. We are privileged to have with us Colonel Sanjeev Nair, CEO of Technopark, a leader who has been at the forefront of boosting technological growth and innovation.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Murali, my friend, CEO at ICT Academy, and eminent panelists out here. And I take it that how many of your students out here? How many of your employed students? Okay. Employed? Okay. So there's a mix of young employees and students. How many of you are Gen Z? Anybody Gen Z? Gen X? Gen Z nariya vandanu. Yeah, I think they are still confused. Okay, anyway, yeah. So why I asked, there is a reason for this thing, because I happen to be a father of a Gen Z. So that's how I thought I should connect it that way itself. So this particular topic of industry readiness, it's a very heavy word, right? I still remember my own commissioning days and all. When we passed out from the academy, there was a lot of bandwidth available for our own seniors out there to groom us. There was a lot of bandwidth available with the organization also to groom us, right? But today we talk about industry readiness. It's a heavy word. So I want to understand the psyche of Gen Z. I can just narrate it in a different way. When we remember our school days, we fondly remember our class 10th, 11th and 12th. When we remember our school days. And we very fondly remember our college days as well. So when we talk about Gen Z, they would have either lost 2 years of their school life, 10th, 11th, 12th, or they would have lost 2 years of their college life. So what we fondly remember is something that the current generation would have missed out. And when we talk about a concept of industry readiness, adding on to that, at times I feel they get scared. I think Anish also will agree to me, because similar session we had earlier when there was few college students out here. So the way they were asking questions, we could make out that when we talk about these words, it actually scares me. So my first take is that, because when we talk about Industry Academy Connect, so there are two elements to that: the industry segment and the academia segment. So when we talk about academia segment, they have to be a little flexible to have that curriculum balance, so that there should be some flavor of industry readiness there. It has to be a gradual one. Similarly, when we talk about the industry segment, they should be ready to take on people, based upon the aptitude of the kid, rather than, thinking that whosoever is coming out, they have to be industry ready. So there has to be a balance, so that the students who are coming out from the college, they should not feel scared. This is from my own personal experience, I'm telling you, because when my son joined the college, he said, "Papa, I have missed 2 years of my school life, 11th, 12th gone." So he wanted to do everything in the college, right? He wanted to get into co-curricular activities, studies and whatnot. And I was just telling, after 4 years, you will be again into the same lot of, saying that you have to be industry ready, then only you will fit into the industry. So wherever you get an opportunity to learn with a fun element, that is the place that you should look for. Normally what happens is that in the initial go, wherever you are going, we normally say that you become casualty, because you get into an organization and then you start learning that whether you are, fitting well in that organization or not. So the actual thing happens after that. So when we are talking about, navigating careers and all, which experts will be anyway talking to you. So these are the few things which I thought I should share with you. Look for an organization which has got a good organization culture, which talks about, has a good, leadership management out there, which has got a good culture, which believes in camaraderie, which allows you to work, which allows you to, take on tasks. There where people believe in delegation. And from your side also, you should have an attitude to learn. The learning attitude has to be there, and that attitude of working under no supervision. That is very, very important. That is a typical attitude, learning under no supervision. It should happen that somebody is supervising you when you start working. And you should have that intent to help others, to walk that extra mile. If that thing happens, you'll find that you always wanted. You'll find that positive vibes coming towards you. You don't have to ask for anything. So these are the few things I thought I'll tell you. And with that as a note, I think there are experts to speak. Happy learning and enjoy this particular session. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring message. And now we move to the most awaited segment of today's event, the panel discussion on industry readiness. This discussion will provide valuable insights into career readiness, talent attraction, and industry expectations from experts who have been at the forefront of workforce development. Moderating this session is Mr. Bibin Bhanujan, Training Lead at the Knowledge Office, ICT. Joining our panel today, we have three distinguished professionals. Squadron Leader Nadia Baba, retired, managed HR programs, Carestack. Nadia is a specialist in HR development, strategy, and employee initiatives. Mr. Ajish M.J, Manager, Business Excellence, Tata Elxsi, with extensive experience in sustainability, innovation, risk management, and talent management. He brings a wealth of knowledge to the discussion. Mr. Shamin Sharaf, Senior Manager, Talent Attraction, Allianz Services, with over a decade of experience in talent acquisition, recruitment strategy, and employer branding. He is an expert in attracting top talent.
A very warm welcome to the panelists and esteemed guests of DICE, students and faculties, ICT Honors. So, without further ado, we begin. To start with, we'll go with the easy ones. It's an open question to all the panelists. How has your association with ICT Academy been contributing, bridging the gap between academia and industry? Answer from everyone.
Can I go? Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. I know it's a graveyard shift after lunch inside an air-conditioned, room. Please don't fall asleep. Okay, so just in case you fell asleep, it's okay. Please don't snore. Okay, just don't let us know that you're sleeping. So my association with ICT Academy goes back many years. Okay, so if I tell number of years, then you'll also guess my age. Let me not do that. I'm also part of the academic council. There was this academic council that was created, and I still remember the meetings that used to happen. You'd be there along with Dinesh Tandi and Vinu Koshi and that team. It was very good because what we were trying to do is we're just trying to see if we can get a ready supply of talent. Okay, and gone are the days where we could look at people as resources. Now it has to be individuals and understanding what needs to be done to kind of bring them home and then groom them properly. So we saw ICT Academy as a fantastic place where that grooming can happen, and that association still continues. The reason why I'm here as well.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My relationship with ICT Academy has just started with Rekha reaching out to Carestack. Over the last 1 year, what I can say is we've stopped going to campuses and we've started hiring from communities. So I hope that in the future we build more on this relationship with ICT Academy this way.
Now we are looking forward to it.
Okay, hello everyone. My association with ICT, I think it's been 4 to 5 years when I took up the role, also managing the campus hiring, fresher hiring. I think when there was a request from the management to hire freshers with 5 years of experience, we always go to campuses. It's a normal ask, fresher with 5 years experience, right? That's the memes that you see in the portals, yeah? So we go back to them saying that you'll not find those kind of people. So our go-to place was ICT. Thomas was our point of contact. So we used to get trained freshers where some of the technologies that we used to look for. So that's how we work with ICT. So our technology hiring is pretty much limited compared to other organizations, but then the few hiring that we do, I think there's a lot of support from ICT there.
Yes, thank you so much. We'll move on to the next one. Being in a human resource department, it's quite challenging. We've known it. Be it the 90s generation or the Gen Z that we have, or the Gen Alpha that is coming. If you look at talent, how do you define talent in comparison to 90s and Gen Z?
Okay, I'll take that first. So, like Sir said, we have a Gen Z at home. I have a Gen Alpha. He calls himself Gen Alpha. I asked him why are you called so? He said this is because of the language. You don't understand what we speak, right? The words they use, and probably from HR, I get to know what is the hot.
It's definitely not a word.
Right. So I asked, what do you want to do in life? So he said he wants to be a YouTuber. Okay. So I asked why, because there's one guy called Mr. Beast who earns in millions. So why should I study? Why should I work? So I can make easy money. So that's the thought process of coming back to the question. There is a difference in terms of the quality of students that we see. There is a difference in quality, technical capabilities. There is also a difference in the attitude as well, right? So, when I started my career, probably 10, 12 years back, the freshers used to come to us, looking for opportunities, etc. So plates have changed. Last 2 years, we go to campuses, doing sessions around what we offer to attract students. So the plates have changed. It's around the attitude that these students bring in. There is a difference. Yes.
The view has changed. There was a view where we wanted something. Now the view is what is on offer. So that's a challenge in itself. So you may.
Yes, things have changed. Everyone is smart, right? In fact, that quotient of smartness has really, really, really increased, and that's also to be attributed to the kind of information that this generation has access to. Unlike us, where we had a doubt, we had to either visit the library or go to the professor's place. Okay, now you just ask that prompt. That's a word. It's not even search. You just have to prompt the Chat GPT or the Gemini of the world, and you have the answers, and very contextual as well. Whether the answer is right or wrong is subjective, but then so that I think there's this element of smartness which has come in, and all these attributes that we are talking about, right? What's in for me, it actually stems from that attribute that everyone is smart. So smartness basically comes from that attribute where we talk about value, right? The minimum input, maximum output. So it's not just the organization is asking for that, the talent is also, the people are also asking the same question. How can I get maximum output with minimum input? And that's a very smart question to ask. And that's what we have seen, a big, shift between what we used to, have maybe 10 years ago to the kind of, people whom we get now. They're extremely smart and for very right reasons.
In my opinion, in the 90s, when we were all studying, like you said, when we have a question, there is no internet or Google or a smartphone to ask to, and the only people you could go to were your teachers or the library or your bougie friend. That's all. There are no other options. But today, the time has changed, and everyone has access to a lot of information. How many of us are using it, I don't know. But there is information available readily. On the other side of the fence, like if you look at industries, we expected students or the freshers or candidates to come in with academic brilliance only. And we had time to spend to train them and spend a lot of time, effort, and money in training and getting them operational. But today the expectation is very high because there is access to information. skills are away. You can attain a skill I'm not saying very easy, but easier than before. Okay, so from the industry side also the expectation is now very high. We directly want skill. We have very less time to train, and we don't want to spend so much money, time, effort in training someone. Spend 6 months in training, and then the person goes and becomes operational. That time has gone. Now, when we look for freshers, who have invested in their skill. That is, I think we all know a little more than academics. People who are actively participating in community activities, who are problem solvers, who take up practical problems, maybe hackathons, workshops. They take up practical problems, solve them, maybe not perfectly, but at least has attempted it. So those kind of skills we really look into today, I feel. And the expectation is very high from a fresher. Experience much, much higher. But a fresher is also very high at this point of time. Unlike the 90s where a 90% CGPA was good enough to get you a job. Yeah.
Shall we say that the expectation of a learner from an organization has drastically changed? More than the skills, what they have. For set, as you mentioned, into the academia, they take additional hackathons, boot camps, and learning processes.
Yes.
So the demand in getting that talent into the organization, has it been tough?
It has. Okay. So let me tell you the hiring experience. Okay, I was a full stack developer in Infosys. Then I went to Air Force as an aeronautical engineer. From there, now I'm on the other side of the fence. I'm an HR trying to recruit people. So I'll tell you my experience. Now, if I have two candidates, one is academically very brilliant, 90%, but does not know how to solve a practical problem. And there is another person, maybe a college dropout. But that 1 year of dropout, this person has invested in upskilling themselves. We might choose the second one. Today, this is the same. And the requirement is also such. Today, we cannot say if you know Java or if you know .NET, you're going to get placed. Today, you want future-ready people, not present-ready. Somebody who can learn whatever comes in the future. This might get phased out. We don't know. I don't know where we are going with technology. I can't predict. But since we can't predict it, I would like to hire people who can adapt to that, who can learn quickly, unlearn and learn quickly.
Just a follow-up question. Would you like to answer it?
No, I was just carrying the mic. So
the job roles has been different throughout the period. Talent has been attracted towards the remote version of the jobs. Few in hybrid, even fewer in on-site. Is this a challenge currently? And if it's so, what's the future of this? Is it everyone going for remote? Or is the talent that you come across is focused on remote?
all right, no press people here, right? Because we are being quoted after the LNP chairman made that statement, and then followed by Narayan Murthy sir, and then so it's a very debatable question. It's a but it's $1 million question. Okay, now it's $1 million for the reason that we need to first understand what is the science of learning. Okay, the science of learning says that 10% of your learning comes from your classrooms. So, of course, you are in ICT Academy, so you are learning something there, right? There's a 20% learning which comes from the stretch learning which is happening because you take up something additional. For example, I could see people taking comparing, some people managing this particular event, some people making some scripts, some people kind of welcoming, their dignitaries, and there's a lot of learning which happens through this process. So that makes it 30%. Where does the 70% come from? That component is called social learning. Okay. When we have people working from home, what is getting lost is the 70% social learning. Okay. You want to agree with it, you don't want to disagree, you want to disagree with it, it's personal choice. But this is the science. Okay. Now, what happens is when a newbie actually comes into the organization, there's a lot of seasoning that is required. There's a lot of hand holding. You know what is the maturity level in terms of talent that we talk about? We say as you come into the organization, you are into a state called unaware. You really don't know what you don't know. Okay? And that's when your manager comes into the picture and he says, hey, you know what? You need to learn JavaScript. And not just any JavaScript, maybe React. Okay? Or Next.js, whatever. Okay? And that is the phase where you actually move from a state called unconscious incompetency to a state called conscious incompetency. And that's most critical for any person to start learning. The second stage is where you actually get trained. Now that you know that you need to learn Next.js, you get a faculty or you take a Coursera course or you take a Udemy or Udemy or whatever in the world and you do that particular course. Okay? But you become what we call as trained. And what is the next level in our hierarchy? We call them beginner. Beginner is a person who can get into a project. He's project ready, but he cannot deliver unless he has some support. So he needs support of someone who we would typically call it like an intermediate guy. Saying that, yes, this guy can not just, do something on his own, but he can also kind of give guidance to someone who's just coming, the trained guys or the beginners. And then you have the experts, masters, and sage. That's the way how the hierarchy of expertise gets developed. Okay. Now, can you think of becoming an intermediate or an expert or a master or a sage till you cross the first two hurdles of being trained, becoming a beginner, and moving on to transitioning to an intermediate? And now do you understand the importance of being in office, working along with your colleagues, having that social learning coming into picture and the collaboration? So I'm, as an organization, especially for people who are coming from the campus, we absolutely say no to work from home. Okay. For people who are in the state, what we typically call it as intermediate, expert, master, and sage, it just doesn't matter whether you are coming to office or not. But we still want them to come to office, not for what delivery that they are doing in the project, but to train the youngsters, to have that interaction with youngsters so that they also get groomed and one day become, in the industry terms, hybrid.
Okay, probably I would. I would add. So during COVID, I think we shut off all of a sudden. 1.5 years, things were all smooth. I think delivery was okay. There was no problems. Only thing that was missing is, as I said, it was more around collaboration, camaraderie, etc. So it's also, as mentioned, it's also depending on what role you do. Right. So being HR, as per our policy, we're not we don't need to come to office, but my team works from office because we are into people business. The meetings, the interaction that we have. So all of us would love to work from office because that is more easier. But again, coming to a technical role, a person being an IC, traveling all the way, probably an hour's journey to office, only to do probably meetings with an on-show. You can do that from home, right? So what missing, as mentioned, is the collaboration, camaraderie with colleagues, etc. So hybrid, yes, because it suits few people, and that helps them work from home, etc. But I am a big fan of working from office.
Sure, please.
Just one incident that I want to add here. During the COVID times, Carestack was also working from home. But what I want to bring to your attention is when the lockdown got over and everyone was back in the office, there was this gap between the newcomers and the people who already existed. Obviously, it's because they've not seen each other or worked alongside each other. But the scene before COVID is only what I've heard. I was not there in Carestack at that time. Was everyone was in office, everyone knew each other, everyone knew each other personally because people eventually work for people. Okay, and we had to go live, and one person encountered a problem. Everybody pitched in. There was no QA, and I'm a QA, I will not do this. I'm a front end, I will not do this. Everybody pitched in, and the problem was sorted. That kind of camaraderie, I don't think you can build sitting at home. And you can see it when there is a problem. And also, when you sit in the college in a lab and do coding for your practicals, it is very different scenario in the office, because in the college the teacher will give you the problem to solve. In the office you have to find the problem, so the problem finds you. Okay, and in the college you just have to show the output, you get the marks, you pass. But here you have to split that job into 10 different portions. You do a part of it, your friend will do a part of it, and somebody else will do a part of it, and then combine it together. That is a totally different skill. Now you have to define standards so that everybody codes in the same way, and one person can understand what the other person has written. This kind of collaboration will not come if you work from home. So I'm also in for work from office, unless there's an emergency.
I have a curiosity question here. How many of you here, the Zoomers, you prefer working from office? Or let me put the contrary question. Okay, all right. Bad question then.
And definitely they would love a start from the office. In due course of time, they might move on.
That's a smart move.
Moving on, just to add on to the point what man made earlier, additional skill acquisition during the academia period. Validating that, certifications are often debated. So how much weight do they carry in hiring decisions? And which one should be the particularly valuable one?
Okay, now I'll talk from Carestack point of view. When we look at certifications, if it is just for a certification, anyway during the interview you will be tested. You will have a problem in hand to solve, a practical problem. Now, if you're not able to solve it, your certification is questionable to us. So, if you're taking a certification, let it improve your problem solving skills. Can you apply it? Learning is one ball game. Applying it is a totally different ball game. You have to, if your certification provides you with practical insights or case studies or lets you apply it on a problem, then I guess yes. Because eventually when you come and sit in the interview, if you're not able to solve it, now there's a question.
I would like to add to this. Just imagine a scenario, okay? And this typically happens in any institution. You go for an interview, okay? And I'm sure on both my sides are people who are even today going to campus, so you will possibly endorse my views. You go to college, you will possibly see 2 or maximum 3 different patterns of resumes. Okay, so the only differentiator is the name is different. Possibly sometimes the contact number is different, but I have even cases where they were even forgotten to change the contact number or even email ID. And because they have not changed, oh yeah, of course, they've just changed the name of the person and then they've come, exaggeration of course. But I'll not be surprised if that happens because it looks so templatized. And with the AI coming into the picture, okay, you will only say, maybe 10 things about yourself, okay, and it will build a profile for you, a resume for you. And this is what everyone does. Now, coming to Bibin's question, how does certification help you? Because remember, your first point of getting consideration into an interview or discussion is your resume. Okay, so there it starts. How do you differentiate yourself from the crowd? What is your USP? How many courses have you done? Okay, you would not believe. Very recent, had an interview. I was just kind of casually going around when these interviews were happening. One person from, I think it was FISAT College. Okay, it's a private college in Kochi. One person had close to about 22 line items of certifications that he or she has done. 22 line items. That's roughly running 2 pages. Okay. And as curiosity might have it, I said, I'm going to interview this candidate myself. Okay. And the person did get selected. Okay. So it's just that, that how do you stand differentiated from the crowd? I think that's critical. And possibly that's one point which comes into picture when you have certifications backing you. But just like Nadia said, it's just going to take you to the next step. But how you would get selected purely depends on how well you are able to establish those.
Yeah. Adding on to that, I think good to have certification, but then as Nadia said, it puts you on a spot as well, right? So as interviewers, when you see a certification, we are also curious. We start asking questions. So if you put something, ensure that you know something about it, right? And again, as Biju said, probably look at the role also that you're applying for. Now, I've been into a campus looking for a customer service insurance operation role. A candidate coming with a lot of certification, and he said, I don't want to do technical roles in future, but I'm more of a people person. I want to do a different role. But your CV doesn't talk about that, right? Your CV talks about a lot of technical certification that you had, etc. So you will have to ensure that you should have at least 3-4 sets of CVs with you, aspiring to the role that you're looking forward to, right? And then anything, certification, projects. Project is one key thing I catch hold of candidates, right? They will have a big expansion of what they did. And when we ask when we go deep into the project, finally he will ensure, he will say that his friend was doing the project, he was part of the project, right? So ensure that something that you write, including hobbies, right? You copy paste it from a friend. Probably the interviewer can pick on one of your hobbies. So reading, he will ask what was the last book you read when you are in a soup. Yeah. So ensure that whatever that goes into your CV, you are sure about. Yeah. You can at least talk about something that is written in your CV. Yeah.
I just have a follow-up question for that. Organizations do build a very good culture, and it's hugely important right now from a HR perspective or from any employee perspective. Organization culture has been priority at this scenario. How do you, during a recruitment phase, how much of a soft skills is being considered along with technical skills? Which I believe, could it add value to the organization culture when having a soft skills for elevated soft skills?
It does. I think equally important. I think these days the problem here is limited opportunity, lot of talent, right? When we interview, probably they would, for a position, we will have at least 3 to 4 technically qualified candidates for the role. The differentiator there would be around the soft skills, around the language capabilities, the adaptability, collaboration topics, etc. So that would be the differentiator. Probably that would get you that job, right? Probably people would be equally capable in terms of the technical knowledge that they come with, but then somebody who can pass on the message rightly to us, somebody who can talk about future ready to us, right? Somebody who can speak about collaboration projects that they have done, etc. I think soft skills plays an important part these days, especially with it's not only about how good you are a coder. We work in a very global environment, so there is a lot of interaction with customers back on shore, right? Somebody, we will look at somebody who can speak really well, somebody who can put across his thoughts to a customer back in one of our offshore locations. So that will play as a differentiator when it comes to considering that in Kerala especially the talent that we have versus the opportunities that we have.
I absolutely endorse the views. The soft part is soft. It's so very difficult. Sometimes if you ask a HR, why did you reject a particular candidate? It is so intangible for that person to say that he may even tempted to say like it's my intuition. I felt that he will not actually gel into my organization. Okay, can you just imagine that there is that felt thing which is so intangible, which is something which kind of gets communicated from the candidate to the organization that you know what, I'm not good for your organization, right? But there are organizations who also tangibilize it. They try to go one step further to figure out why are you saying that this person will not fit to your organization? Is he not communicating well? Is he not agile? Is he not learning? Is he not, a people person? Is he not a team player? Okay, so then there's a tangibilization which happens there, so that there is an objective evaluation. It cannot just be on the whims and fancy of a person, right? So we just do try to parameterize it, but all these things and many more actually go in that consideration set, which creates that soft skill. Okay, and if I were to ask you this question, most of you like cars and bikes, right? At the end of the day, you have your own preferences of cars and bikes, isn't it? Many of them would like possibly, okay, how many of you here, the most controversial car, okay, that is the BE6E, okay, the Mahindra, the new EV. Have you seen the picture? Okay, how many of you like it, that design? And I'm sure there'll be equal set of people who don't like it. Is it a car? It's not like a conventional thing. Now, the only thing I want to tell you is it's also a people preference. Okay, it's a perception of the person looking at you and what he wants to bring into his organization, right? Remember, at the end of the day, any car is an engine with 4 tires, and of course, a lot of bells and whistles around it, right? Now, what differentiates one car from another at this point of time is the software which goes into it and the styling. Okay, so what you like, what you don't like is not the engine or the motor or the tires. It is the software and the styling, right? And you put the same analogy on a person. Okay, the organization is also looking at an individual. I'm so sorry, commoditizing people. Okay, but look at yourself as someone who's going into an organization. Okay, what differentiates you from the other person is the software and the styling. Okay, if you can read between the lines what I'm talking about.
Can I? Okay, so in our company, Carestack, what I'd like to say is 60% of our employees are non-technical, 40% are technical. Now, what are these non-technical roles? They're into sales, marketing, virtual assistants, HR, IT, admin, support, product management, all these roles. Now, most of these roles are communicating with the customers. So your communication can either make or break business. Okay. And once you communicate with the customer, obviously customer will have 10,000 requirements. You have to communicate it to the tech team. They are going to shout at you. They're going to be behind you to go and negotiate with the customer. So apart from the basic communication skills, you're also expected to have negotiation skills. Are you able to convince the customer or negotiate terms? These features now, the other features later. Can we do it that way? Or negotiation of cost or stakeholder management. I think all of these are very important in a company, in a business. For example, Malayalam is okay for all of you? Non-Malayalis? നമ്മൾ സ്കൂളിലും കോളേജിലൊക്കെ കണ്ടിട്ടില്ലേ, ചില ആൾക്കാർ ഒരു പരിപാടിയൊക്കെ ഓർഗനൈസ് ചെയ്യാൻ ഭയങ്കര ഇനിഷ്യേറ്റീവാണ്. They'll go and talk to, suppose somebody is organizing an industrial visit or a trip for the class. This person will arrange the bus and talk to parents and convince the teachers and take permission from the principal, and there will be a group of people who are very interested in all these things. No? This is stakeholder management. Make it happen, and nobody is angry. I think these skills are very important outside the class, and it's very, very relevant in business because this is at that time you were doing an IV or hosting a program like this, but though that skill set you need in the business also. Apart from basic communications, that is a mandate. There's no negotiation on that. But these other things are also important, is what I feel.
Thank you. So, thinking on that part, I wanted to bring, we've already spoken about the perspective from a job seeker, what is being expected from an organization. We'll come back to the challenges that HR is going through. Talent attraction or talent retention, which is the most challenging part.
Retention.
Why is it?
Because this is my experience. You can agree or disagree. It is Carestack has a very specific culture. We need problem solvers and we are fast. Okay, and we expect people to adapt and learn as quickly as you can. So it's very difficult to retain there. It's the learning curve is very steep. But what happens 5 years down the line? Now what? Okay. So in my opinion, retention is more difficult. Not saying that attraction is easy. Also difficult. Because the generation today, how far will you go to solve a problem? I think the 90s kids will go really far. You will give anything to get that problem solved. But I don't know how far this generation will go to solve. They will hit the wall a little quicker, right? At that point of time, that decision is very tough. Do I try some more or do I let it go? For us, our generation, it was let's try some more. But this generation is let this go. I think so. Most of them. So I think based on this, retention is very tough. Even if you give the best of the learning, it's very hard for people to stick to this.
I'm sure we'll have a contrarian view here. We have a talent attraction person. I was about to counter her because again, I agree to the view. We hire a lot of freshers, so around 50 to 60% of our total hiring are freshers. Attraction is difficult because especially the niche skill that we are hiring. So as an organization, we never were into branding. So if you look at Allianz 2020 back then, we never did any kind of branding. When we asked for branding, we said, we are good, number one insurance company, people knows. And Trivandrum, we were pretty known. But then when the skill sets started changing, right, we were not able to hire from Trivandrum. And then it became a problem. We call people outside of Trivandrum. We say we are from Allianz, they will ask who, right? So that became a problem for us. And then, we started branding, doing things. We started going to campuses, talking about what we do, etc. And then that's when the momentum shifted, and then we started getting people. I also agree. I think with this freshers, the initial 6 months to a year is a difficult period. So that's the time when we looked at the data, is the time when people leave, right? So if you look at our attrition, we are pretty much below industry standard. But then the initial 1 year is somewhere we lost a lot of talent. As Nadia said, it's a thought. So can I do it? No. Okay, goodbye. That's the thing. So they are not even bothered about the notice period, things like that. So if they feel that it's not my cup of tea, there is no second thoughts mostly, and they look for other opportunities.
There is never a second try also.
Correct. Yeah. So that's 1 year is something I felt is a difficult period. So people stay, understand the culture of the organization, the work opportunities, etc. People do tend to stay, but then I think attracting is a difficult task considering the
challenges. A lot of companies hiring for similar kind of skills at the competition the way I have accepted. Now let me do the referee's job here now. Okay, that's a difficult part of possibly sometimes easy because I don't have to take sides. Talent attraction, talent retention. Okay, so it's the greener pasture story. Okay, so whether the grass is green on the other side. Okay, so the talent retention guy will say like, it's difficult to retain the person. The talent attraction person will say it is difficult to attract the right talent. I've personally worked with an organization for 23 years. Okay, but then, when the organization does take care of you, okay, and take care of your family, in the sense my wife is also working in the same organization. So it becomes so part of you, you really don't feel like actually, looking for a different option. Now, having said that, have you noticed what are you looking from a job? And trust me, it's the same three elements that the organization is also seeking from you. Okay? What are the three things that you want from a job? The first thing is you would want a freedom of expression. You call it autonomy, right? You want to work autonomously. I don't want nagging managers. You just tell me what to do, I'll do it. I'm smart enough to do it. That's the first thing. Organization also wants that same person. He wants a person to whom I tell him he does it, beg, buy, or steal. He takes responsibility, is committed to it. What is the second thing the organization wants from you? He wants you to come in with some mastery of skill. That's what you also want. As far as the learning continues in the organization, you stay with the organization. The day you feel you are getting saturated, you move on. Correct? So, first one is autonomy. Second is mastery. What's the third thing? What do you want? You want instant gratification. I do something right, I want someone to tell me like I've done something great. Isn't it? Organization also wants the same thing. Organization also wants you to say that you are doing great things, okay, in the organization, in your personal life, and be gaga about it. So there's absolutely no disconnect between what organization wants and what you want. It's just that putting the coins on the right side. Okay? Are you a master? Are you able to own up things and do it, with absolute autonomy, independent? And are you able to create the gratification? Okay, because we always say life is not a destination, it's a journey. So you have taken a course, you have taken a certification, does not really mean, that's the end. Okay, I'm still struggling with my new role. Not because it's a new role, it's because I have to complete 70 certifications in next 3 months' time. 70, not 17. Okay, in this old age, okay, I'm classifying myself as old. Okay, I have to do that. Now you go back and ask yourself, how many certifications are you doing? Okay. So, as far as an organization is concerned, the talent attraction and talent retention is equally painful. Absolutely. But the crux of the story is, if as an organization is able to attract the right talent, there's a very, very high possibility that that talent will also stay with the organization for a longer period. Okay, and there can be XYZ reasons for it. Did I bore you?
Definitely not. We open the stage for all the participants here to put their questions. മലയാളം ഇംഗ്ലീഷ് ഏതായാലും കുഴപ്പമില്ല. നിങ്ങളുടെ സൈഡിൽ നിന്നുള്ള ചോദ്യം യെസ്, മൈക്ക് ഫ്രണ്ടിലിരിക്കുന്ന ഓൺ ചെയ്യാം, ഓൺ ചെയ്തിട്ട് ചോദ്യം ചോദിക്കാം. ധൈര്യമായിട്ട് ചോദിച്ചു. യെസ്. But everyone over here could develop
you have to kind of, give a bit of a qualifier for yourself. Tell me like what is your background, because what is a deal breaker for a, let's say, a triple E guy would be different from what it would be for a EC guy. Okay, so I'm just taking that as a disclaimer. But I'll indirectly answer. I'm sure the direct answers are going to come from both of them. Slightly indirect answer. In Jan 8th, there was a World Economic Forum report on the future of job 2025. It said that 92 million jobs are getting displaced. 92 million jobs are getting displaced. Does it worry you? Just to comfort you, let me just put the perspective. It is out of close to about 1,100 million jobs. You feel a bit more comfortable. But here is the best part. It also talks about 170 million jobs being created. Okay. The question is, which side are you? Are you having skills which is getting disappeared, or are you on the side which is getting created? And that too, we are not talking about what is like today or what was yesterday. We are talking about future. Okay. So depending on which area you are in, you need to understand what are the future skills, okay, which are the hot skills, and you have to be on the right side of it.
Probably I would add on a bit. Again, the hot skill thing changes probably 6 months, right? So, we were last year as an organization, Gen AI was a hot topic for us, right? And there was a lot of data science, data engineering kind of hiring. All of a sudden, we started this year. There is no, update on Gen AI, what's happening, the skill sets, etc. There is a lot of, roles opened up in, cloud, say Azure, AWS, etc. So things changes. Probably you will have to be ready. Probably every 6 months there is a new technology coming in. You cannot go take a certification, right? So one thing that I probably in students that happens is you will have to find a path, right? So when we go to campuses, mostly this is something that come out. So for placement offices, etc. So the initial 3 months it's fun for them, right? The first year it's mostly fun. Second year probably they start learning. Third year, then fourth year, then the placement cell is active. Now students get ready for whichever companies are coming in, etc. So I think that needs to change. Probably you'll have to figure out what you want to do in life, right? Kind of figure out what you want to do, and probably that also changes for organization. Also, the targets changes every year. So the beginning of the year, there is a huge target set up. Probably after 6 months, they come back saying that we are revising the target. Either it can go up, it can go down, etc. Right? So you should be flexible. One thing. So there is nothing like a hot cake that will fetch you a job role. Probably understand the market condition that changes. Industry changes very fast. Academia, not that much. So that's the gap probably that we feel. There are restrictions. The college cannot change their courses all of a sudden, etc. But then there is a huge difference from what we see in the 2020s and what we are, because a lot of autonomous colleges coming in, a lot of opportunity for internships, collaboration with the academy, etc. Things are changing, but then I think probably you should be flexible enough in terms of what you want to do as a career.
I just want to have a word of caution there, okay? Because this world of technology is very, it's fast evolving, and you have to be extremely cautious when you are taking, the trajectory basically. Okay, why am I saying this is because now the technology is evolving on existing technology. Okay, now depending on where you are, okay, you will have to sometimes undo what you have learned and learn new things, or you have to build on top of it. Okay, and that's precisely what needs to be done. Let me just explain to you what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's say if you are a full stack developer, right? Okay, and you want to take the advantage of AI ML. So there are two approaches you can take, right? The first approach that you would take is what? Like a GitHub Copilot kind of an approach, right? You have the code and you have the GitHub assisting you on the code development process, right? So rapid development. Agreed? And there is a second way of doing it. What is it? That is the agentic AI. Okay? Are you going to do any coding there? Absolutely no. Okay? So the question here is, can I learn a particular technology and will the technology will be autonomous? Okay? Or do I have to build that acumen on top of some existing technology? Many a times when we actually go to colleges and we talk to the students, what we understand is like they have done these certifications. The Gen AI certification, the robotic certification, this thing, that thing. But when we ask something which is much fundamental, they're not able to relate to it. Okay? And that should not be the case. You should know where are these technologies getting plugged in. Okay? Is it a standalone or is it getting built on top of an existing stack?
I'll just add to that. See, like both of them said, what is happening today is not what's going to happen 2 months later. So if you ask today, what is the hot topic today and what will get you a job, I really don't know. Okay. But what I do know is, how curious are you? How deep are you willing to go into one subject? Are you going to be able to undo that and relearn something else when the next thing comes up? Like today, there is an AI and ChatGPT expert role, which earns some 40 lakhs per annum. It's a new role. It didn't exist 2 years back, but now it does. So are you also going to be able to adapt that way? When you're sitting in a college, probably it's very difficult. You will have exams and labs and everything going on at the same time. Probably your best chance is to get associated with the industry as much as you can. Through your college, through yourself, through LinkedIn, through any way, through internships, through workshops, through hackathons, as mentors in communities, in any way which you can, if you are able to associate and be close to the industry while you're learning, I think that would be a good way to start if you're studying in college.
Any other questions?
So, as job seekers, how can we effectively transition between industries or roles? If we are working in one industry, how do we transition to another role or industry? Because this time, future, like lots of skills are required, different industries are coming. So, how do we change?
I'm kind of running short of words.
Okay, I have switched from one industry to the other to another to another. Okay, so each time I switched for my own reasons. Probably you will not relate to it, but for switching, you will have to keep your ego aside and start from zero. I think, and be extremely curious and willing to invest in the new industry or whatever you have chosen. Shifting from a full stack developer to an aeronautical engineer in Air Force was no joke. Okay, I doubted my decisions 100 times, but all I could do at that point of time was keep my ego of being a full stack developer aside and start from zero as an aeronautical engineer. Same thing happened when I retired from Air Force and I joined Carestack. I joined as an HR. I had no background of HR, no idea what I'm going to do, but I was willing to learn. Over there, I cannot say my 10 years of military experience is going to be helpful in corporate HR. It's a different ballgame. Okay, the industry is different. So if I bring that ego in and I'm not ready to put in effort, learn from the juniors, learn from anyone. Everything is a learning for me. If you're able to think like that, I think you can switch industries, go to any industry that you want, any time that you want. Now, I'm doing this after 16 years of being a part of the workforce. I think it should be very easy for you.
I'll just add, I just got a few points. Okay, I'll just add. It's not just changing industry. Okay, I just want to, when she started her story, here's my story. I've been with HR for, a number of years. Again, not telling the real number because you'll guess my age. Okay, and then on one fine morning, I felt like I should be doing something different. I went all the way to my boss and I said, "Boss, I want to do something different." And my boss was like, "What?" I'm like, I'm done. People crying on my shoulders. I want to, do something which makes me happy. And his question was, "What will make you happy?" I said, "Anything which is important for the organization, but not the HR thing." Okay. And today, here I am, part of a team which is called Business Excellence, taking care of things absolutely not related to HR. Okay. You can always qualify because at the end of the day, anything and everything is part of HR. But then I'm part of sustainability, enterprise risk management, and innovation. Okay. How did a HR become all these things? I don't know. But my only takeaway is the 70 certifications that I have to complete in next 3 months' time. Okay. So I think what Nadia said is extremely important. You should be able to start from the scratch. That scaling up, scaling down. Not being scared of that. Okay. How many of you have not traveled in KSRTC buses? Okay, don't be shy. I'm sure there will be a lot of people who would not have traveled in KSRTC buses because you have the privilege of traveling in cars and bikes and maybe other mode of transit as well. Okay, but if tomorrow need arises, would you mind traveling in KSRTC buses? If your answer is yes, you have a serious problem. If your answer is no, that means you are able to scale up and scale down based on the situation. Right?
Okay, I don't have a story of changes. Only shift I did was, after my engineering, I decided to do an MBA. So that's kind of a similar story you can all relate to. To all the engineers that you ask, why not an IT job? So that's the only change that I had. I think talent that recruitment has. So again, the question is around why. Why do you want to change? Right. So all of them had answers of why changing. And so similarly to you, if you want to change, there should be a why, right? So if you want to change industry, it should be a valid reason for you to change. So probably maybe, you come across job roles that will earn you a lot, right? You hear from colleagues saying that, this job is good, it will pay you. I've been to an actuarial college. Actuary is one of those hiring we do. In India is around 600 qualified actuaries. So that's a very niche portfolio that we have in Kerala. It's only around 5 colleges that teach actuarial courses, right? So we went to a college, we asked the students, why did you choose this course? So one said, somebody said, if you are a qualified actuary, you got a 1 crore job and a car, right? So they never know what's in it. Yes, that's the answer that I got. And the head of the actuary was there with me. He said, "I'm not at paid that much, so don't worry, you'll not be paid that much." Right? So, but that's how it works. So, there is a big effort. There is around 31 exams that you'll have to pass. Right? So, our head of actuary took around 13 years to complete those exams to be a qualified actuary. So, it's about why. So, what motivates you to shift a career or change a profession. So, yeah, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes.
Yes.
I would like to ask. It's regarding hiring. I would like to ask, what are the common mistakes that job seekers do, and how can we rectify them? What can we do to rectify them?
Okay, probably I would start, starting from the CV, right? So that's the first place most candidates fall out, right? As mentioned earlier, it's kind of copy pasting from your friends, just changing the name, right? So a CV should be unique, right? So, as talent attraction professionals, HR professionals, we get thousands of CVs in a day, through different modes, right? So your CV should stand out. That is the first thing as young professionals you will have to look at. And when it comes to an interview process, again, a thing around preparation is something which is missing from most of the candidates we meet, right? So they don't know about the organization. The first question probably we may ask is, what do you know about the job role? Right? So probably they wouldn't have even read about the job description. So a group of friends passing on the message that there is an opening, you go there. So first, probably before coming to an interview, understand the organization. Probably also understand the job role. Right, so the accessibilities have changed. You will have a lot of access to knowing the organization better. You can make connections to people who are doing similar kind of jobs. Right, understand from what are the kind of job roles and responsibilities, what are the kind of work they do, etc. So understanding one, the organization that you are applying for. Second would be around the job roles, etc. And preparation around how do you want to pick up the interviews, etc. One other thing that I am not sure if this is right to say this, Gen Z's grooming, it is a bit out of, probably condition these days. We find people coming in chapels for interview these days. So, debatable, probably, they come, I have all the skill sets, don't look at my looks. Not sure every organization would be okay hiring, right? So, probably your skills would stand out for yourself, but then grooming is pretty important when it comes to an interview.
Right. Classical mistake. The classical mistake is you going the classical way. Okay. I don't know whether you noticed Nadia saying these words. She said, they go to communities. How many of you go to communities? Are you aware of communities which operate in your own domain of technology? Let's say Java forums or AI forums, right? How many of you are in communities such like that? And how many of you are contributing towards those communities? That's when you get really noticed, right? Okay, maybe just show of hands. Have you heard about TCS NQT? What is TCS NQT? Correct. All right. That's nice. Have you heard about Hacker Earth? Very nice. Hacker Rank? Okay. Between Hacker Earth, Hacker Rank and TCS NQT, do you know how many jobs gets dispensed? How many job offers gets released? It is more than the top 3 mass recruiters put together. How many of you are there? How many of you have a Hacker rank? How many of you are? Very nice, very good. How many of you have a rank which is in the top 50? Trust me, if you have a rank which is on the top 50, possibly you'll not be sitting here listening to us. Okay, so maybe the one suggestion that I'm trying to tell you is here, don't make the classical mistake of being the classical, the conventional way. Okay, wait for a company and then, you appear for the interview. You can actually take your own routes. Okay, be there in in Hacker Ranks, Hacker Earth, attempt all these challenges. Okay, Nadia also talked about the hackathons that the different organizations conduct. Okay, as far as we are concerned as an organization, we have been a very conventional organization. 100% recruitment coming from the top 20 colleges. Okay, never had a problem of getting talent. Absolutely. Because our numbers are very small. We take about 1,000, 2,000 people, and we would easily get them by hitting 10 to 12 colleges. Okay. But then came COVID. I can't go to the college, but I need people. I'm growing 2x. So what we did, we went virtual. We said, okay, we are not going to be bothered about which college, which stream, anything. I'm going to put some challenges there. Whoever attempts it, crashes it, that becomes my consideration set. And you would not believe that was the year where we get an absolute set of gems into our organization. But from very unassuming places, including places like Guwahati, Bhubaneswar, Punjab. Okay, we had 2 gentlemen coming from Ludhiana. Okay, and including places that I've not even heard of. Okay. We had one lady joining us from Meerut. Okay. No, it's Meerut I've heard, but then it's like not something that we expect, in our kind of an organization. So, can we do an unclassical approach? Would be possible way to route things.
Yeah, I'll wind up quickly. She's standing there at the dais eyeing me. So what I feel is what you write in the resume should make sense. One, to you and the recruiter, the organization that you're applying to. You should be able to talk deeply about the things that you've written in the resume. Otherwise, don't write it. Now, once the recruiter gets a resume, we probably might check your LinkedIn. It should also have the same skills and the certifications that you've mentioned in the resume. It should reflect the same. And then you might land up in an interview. Then you as a person should also match what you've written in the resume and in LinkedIn. If there is a gap in any of these, you lose points there. Okay. And what I've seen is, like he said, not at all aware of the organization that you are interviewing for. I had someone tell me, oh, I applied to so many companies, I forgot. Who are you? Why are you calling me? I was like, yeah. So this person has applied to so many organizations that he does not remember Carestack. So that was point lost. I said, okay, that means you're not interested. So that's done. So I just wanted to add this.
Thank you. Thank you, participants who asked the questions. Thank you, panelists, for answering them. We wind up our panel discussion segment. We move on to the next segment. So before that, Nadia ma'am, Ajish sir, Shamin sir, thank you so much. We had an invaluable insight, more importantly, a great experience sharing in all the phases of the questions. I hope these questions were not that challenging to answer. So, as part, we move to the next segment. We would request you to continue. We have a certification distribution part. So we would like to continue. So, over to you, Shana.
Thank you, Bibin. That was an incredibly insightful discussion. Now let's open the floor for we have a certificate distribution ceremony for our data science participants. This is a celebration of their dedication and hard work. To present the certificates, I would like to invite our esteemed panelists and our CEO to kindly do the honors.
Before delivering the vote of thanks, we have a small token of gratitude to our guests.
As we come to the conclusion of today's Industry Readiness and Panel Discussion, navigating careers with expert guidance, this might relate to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks on behalf of ICT Academy of Kerala. First and foremost, I would like to express our deepest gratitude to our esteemed chief guests and speakers. Mr. Muraleedharan Manningal, CEO of ICTAK. Thank you, sir, for your inspiring presidential address and for continuously leading ICTAK towards empowering future professionals. Colonel Sanjeev Nair, CEO of Technopark, we sincerely appreciate your presence and your valuable insights in the inaugural address, setting the perfect tone for this event. A special thanks to our distinguished panelists who took the time to share their expertise and industry knowledge with us today. Squadron Leader Nadia Baba, Manager HR Programs Carestack, Mr. Ajish M.J, Manager Business Excellence Tata Elxsi, Mr. Shamin Sharaf, Senior Manager Talent Attraction Allianz Services. Your insights into industry expectations, career strategies, and workforce trends were truly enlightening. A big thanks to you, our moderator, Mr. Bibin Bhanujan, for skillfully guiding the discussion and ensuring a meaningful and engaging conversation. We also extend our appreciation to our Master of Ceremonies, Ms. Nora Fattu, Ms. Shana Yasmin, for seamlessly hosting this event and keeping the energy high throughout. To our data science participants, congratulations once again on your achievements. We wish you all continued success in your careers. Last but certainly not least, a heartfelt thanks to our organizing team, volunteers, and entire ICTAK team for their dedication and hard work in making this event a grand success. And all our attendees, thank you all for your active participation, enthusiasm, and curiosity. Your presence truly made this discussion impactful and meaningful. Thank you. Our patient. Thank you, Anushree, for your heartfelt words. With that, we officially conclude today's Industry Readiness Panel discussion. A huge thank you to our distinguished panelists, esteemed guests, and wonderful audience for making this event a grand success. Before we part, we invite you all to join us for high tea and networking. This is a great opportunity to interact with the industry professionals, exchange ideas, and expand your professional connections. Thank you. This is Shana Yasmin signing off. Thank you.